The collaborative decision tool is a big knowledge application. It allows people to collect, share, and reuse knowledge or decision-making processes anytime, anywhere. This video will show an example of how we convert documented decision-making processes, for example, articles, white papers, texts from books, into simple knowledge models to make collaborative decisions. For example, after reading an article on how to spot the future, you might want to keep the framework and mental model for yourself and others to spot good ideas or new trends. While the full article text is less valuable, it might be extremely useful if you're able to pull out the core factors and reasoning logic discussed in the article. In this case, the 7 decision factors that help people spot ideas for the future, and store that mental model for how you make investment or product development decisions going forward. We can convert these factors into our structure and form a flexible decision model based on the reasoning we pull from the process. In this example, we convert the factor "look for cross-pollinators," one of the 7 indicators in this article, to the question, "does this idea look for cross-pollinators?" as a factor topic for our model, and "no," "unsure," and "yes" as input and output values. Inputs of a factor can be collected from multiple data sources and people. For example, we can invite people to contribute their inputs for the decision factors. The outputs of a factor are deduced from the input values. For example, for this factor, you might choose yes as an output if there are 20% of inputs for no, 5% for unsure, and 75% for yes, or use input distribution of 20% no, 5% unsure, 75% yes as outputs of the factor. Now we can form a logic model from the translated process. Then build a decision model based on the logic model using our collaborative decision tool. We can create folders to store knowledge by categories. First, create a header with a name and description of the decision model. Save the header. A header also includes a root factor that is used for final decision processing of the model. We can add a decision topic and description into the root factor. The description will be used for purposes of input collecting and reporting. We can assign a weight value to each factor. Choose a decision processing method to specify whether the current factor participates in the decision process using new inputs, does not participate in the decision process, or participates in the decision process using collected inputs from the last decision. Choose an input process method to evaluate fact inputs of the factor. Next, we need to define a factor decision action logic that indicates how to take action for a fact value. We can create, edit, or select the factor and action values. Modify the factor decision action logic by moving the narrow lines. Next, add a decision factor under the root factor. A new factor will inherit factor values and the logic of its parent factor automatically, and its values and logic can be modified anytime. We can repeatedly add all the needed decision factors in this way. Save the decision model. Now we can create a decision task using the decision model. Enter the task name and description. Specify the date and time that the task is to be executed. Specify the frequency and the recurrence of the execution. You can enter your fact inputs for decision processing. We can select fact input files and assign a weight value to each file. We can also invite team members, other experts, or friends to contribute fact inputs. We can assign a weight to the factor. For each invited member, specify which factors they should contribute inputs for. We can conveniently specify recipients for the final decision report. Preview the decision report that is based on owner inputs and input files. After completing task settings, submit the task. The task will be added into a task list. This item is a set of fact inputs received from an invited member. This item is an input invitation from a member. The task will be executed according to schedule and collect fact inputs, perform the factor evaluations, and generate the decision report. After the task is executed, the decision report will be sent to all the recipients automatically. As you can see, the application allows us to collect knowledge and make collaborative decisions easily. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to learn more about this big knowledge application, you can download the app from the Apple App Store. We will release an Android version soon. If you have any comments or suggestions, please contact us at info@nagica.com.